Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elle. I'm an interiors DIY blogger and YouTuber, and today I'm going to be working on a really exciting DIY project. I think this is one that everybody is going to want to do / should do, in my personal opinion. I'm going to be making some vintage breadboards, chopping boards, charcuterie boards, whatever you want to call them. If you are a lover of neutral interiors like myself, you will have seen these boards everywhere across your Instagram feeds, on Pinterest, etc, etc. Breadboards are just a really good way of adding character to a home, as well as adding texture and tone, and a little bit of decor with functionality, because you know these boards can be used for serving and entertaining. So it's just a really good decor piece that you can, you know, use across your home. You can have them stacked up, kind of up to one side in a small corner with maybe a little bit of a vignette with some other like plants and stuff like that. You can have a gallery wall of them in your kitchen. I will of course put some inspo images up here that I have been lusting after for ages. Now of course you can buy these boards, and certainly anytime that I go to a thrift store or I go to my local home sense, I'm certainly on the hunt for some, but they can be incredibly expensive. Like, they can be within the, you know, 80s to the hundreds depending on what they are. Certainly if you go to any vintage store, you're going to be paying quite a lot for them because people know how popular they are. Now I have always said that should I ever go back to France anytime soon, I will certainly be investing in some from a kind of French market and bring them home with me. That's what the empty suitcase will be for. And I'm not opposed to buying them, certainly if they are at a really good decent price and they are a piece that, say, I know that I'm never going to be able to get anywhere else or recreate. But certainly I thought this could be a DIY that I could potentially try out. Who knows if it will work or not, but certainly it seems simple enough in my head when you deconstruct it as to how I can get that look for less. So I've decided to give it a go. I'm going to make several different styles and just play around with kind of ideas and stuff. I'm going to let basically the materials inspire me. So let's cut to me at my local DIY store and let's see what I pick out. Okay, can you see me? Hello. This is really, I'm trying really hard to do this. I'm just pushing myself to be more confident on video, so I'm literally in my car in the car park of B&Q ready to go and get the supplies. I'm just really self-conscious because there's like everybody walking by, but I need to boost my confidence and I need to do these things. And also like the footage inside, like whenever I see other DIY bloggers like film bits of them in like the DIY store and whatnot, they're so pretty, the B-roll. So I wanted to get you some of those clips, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna push myself, I'm gonna push myself out of my comfort zone, and yeah, I'm gonna do it. Alright, let's go in and get our supplies. I'm really excited for this DIY project.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark? From so far away, show us where we are. What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of? Wonder.
Okay, as you can see, I've gone for a couple of different widths and different sort of styles of wood, but realistically it is all the same wood. It is a sawn timber, so you don't really want to be using any sort of MDF type material for this project. You really want to go for proper wood. Now at the moment wood is very expensive, so it's going to cost you, but it's going to be definitely a lot less than what you would be paying for these if you were going to, say, a vintage store. So I've gone for a few different widths and styles. As I said, I'm going to be testing some stuff out. Now I also have this piece. This isn't actually something I purchased. I have several of these downstairs in my kind of DIY dungeon, as I like to call it. It's basically my area where all my DIY tools are kept, and I have a little pull-out cubby that is on wheels that is full of all my like off-sawn timbers or pieces of material that I didn't quite use for other DIY projects, but certainly think that they could come in handy for another one. And this is one of these things. So I'll explain where this is going to come into play in a bit. So I have this one here. I believe this is about a 400mm or a 40cm width. The depth is about, I would say, about 18mm personally, but really it just kind of depends on what your local DIY store has available and kind of what style you're going for. I certainly wanted it, as you can see, to be a little bit chunky, but I didn't want it to be too thick, so I thought the 18mm would be perfect for what I needed to do here today. I also have picked up another one that is slightly larger. Again, you can see it's the same thickness as the other board. It's the same width as the other one, so it's a 400mm again. It's just a little bit taller. And this one I wanted to kind of create this. I will put the image up here on the screen. So this is kind of a very French breadboard, I'm gonna call it. I actually do not know the origins of it, but I see it in many chateaux and French kitchens and whatnot. And this is where I'm gonna use this piece of wood. Now, I do believe that on the traditional boards, this piece of wood is sort of inset into the block, or certainly is used as a seam or something like that. We're not going to do that. We're going to do a bit of a cheat way of just basically sticking it on top to create that effect. You know what? They don't need to know how you got it. They don't need to know at all unless they watch this video. And then my final one is a little bit different, but I got a bit inspired by seeing these pieces of wood. So I picked up 2 of these boards. I believe, again, this is an 18mm, or maybe it's even a 19mm. But certainly it's smaller in width, and they were actually discounted quite heavily because of the, I don't know if you can see here, the kind of cracks in the wood, and they were a bit off-cut and a bit too knotty to actually sell as proper what I know professional builders would use them for. But I figured, because I wanted to kind of create a vintage look with lots of cracks and seams in it, that perhaps getting these together, gluing them, and then certainly incorporating the cracks into the seam, I could create a very cute vintage look in it. So that's what I'm going to give a go. This one will take slightly longer because we will need 24 hours drying time of the wood glue, which I will link everything down below, kind of not timber wise, but this is the wood glue I'm going to use. Now, other tools that you're going to need are stains. By all means, you could leave them like this, but I think you're going to want them to look a bit vintage. I'm playing around with several stains. I treated myself, so I'm going to have to incorporate these into other DIY projects. You're going to obviously need a paintbrush. I bought several paintbrushes over there. You're going to need clamps as well, particularly if you're going to follow the one where you glue them together and do it that way. So one of the main things I'm going to have to do with the wood is sketch out the shape of everything. So I'm going to get up my phone and get some inspiration on there and start sketching it out.
How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights. Why does the rain always keep on pouring down when it's grey outside? It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. How come the trees get undressed when it's cold? And don't they miss the leaves they left behind? Could it be to make the ground shine like gold until winter comes? Until winter comes? Until winter comes? It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder.
Okay guys, we are done with the cutting out and the sanding. So let me show you the boards that we've got so far. So this is board number 1, as you can see, 2 pieces but put together. Absolutely stunning. I'm just so happy with them. I can't wait to get that glued together and then see it as one whole piece. We're going up in sizes, so we've got the other one here. This is the indent shape. This, I think, is my favourite board so far. I absolutely love it. But I mean, look at that shape. It's so gorgeous. And then finally, the big daddy of them all, this one, which is not even in shot. So there we go. Can you see it? Oh my god, this is huge. I love it, I love it, I love it. Obviously, this one's not gonna go on display. It's too big for the area that I was thinking of. I certainly think this is one that I would drill a hole in the future, but it just shows you like how cheap you can do this project, because I'm not kidding you, a board this big in a vintage shop, you would be looking at hundreds of pounds. Like, I'm not even like exaggerating there, like this would cost a lot of money for this size. I mean, I'm gonna say it's at least, I mean, I'm 1.5 meters and it is literally to my head, to my waist. So that gives you an idea of how big it is. And this piece of wood only costs me about £25, I think it was, not even that. So again, just shows you how much you can save if you're willing to put some time and effort into it. Now, on the word of food, I'm saying that that board's gonna be ready for charcuterie. It's not, because for anything like this, especially when you're going to be applying a stain to it, you are going to need some form of food safety protection on it. Now, I haven't researched into this because obviously most of these I'm planning to do as just display only. Now, if you wanted these to be actually useful in order to serve food up, I will link down the food sealant in the description box below. So on to the next bit of the project, which is literally the final step, well, final step and a half for these projects. So this board is ready to go. This one's ready to be stained. I could pretty much do this now and have this as a project that I'm just gonna keep in my kitchen for the rest of the evening and work on. The stain itself, let me just check. The touch dry in 20 minutes, recoatable in 1. Now, depending on how deep I want the stain to be and how much it takes it in, this is going to take probably all evening to do, because obviously we've got the front to do and then we've got the back to do. So this is one that I'll probably work on into the evening. The other two, however, I'm gonna have to work on into the next day, because both of these require wood glue. I still have to cut this piece out for the bigger chopping board in order to make it French looking. And as it says on the bottle, the glue is ready to go after 24 hours. So I'm pretty much going to have to work on these into the next day, tomorrow, which is gonna be fine to do. So what I'm gonna do is get these prepped, ready to go in terms of glued up together, and I can put them to one side to dry. And then I'm gonna find some cardboard. I thought I had some, but it seems to have all disappeared from my house, in order to put out and protect my worktops, and we'll get on with the next part of staining the wood.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away and show us where we are? What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of? I wonder. How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights. Why does the rain always keep on pouring down when it's grey outside? It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. How come the trees gets undressed when it's cold? And don't they miss the leaves they left behind? Could it be to make the ground shine like gold until winter comes? Until winter comes, until winter comes. It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Makes me wonder. Oh, I wonder.
Okay guys, it is the next day. I have been slowly but surely varnishing all of these boards throughout the evening as well as this morning. We have one board that is almost complete. This one here is just needing a final cover of varnish, and then I do have this bad boy here that needs to be completely done. And unfortunately, one of them did move while drying, which is annoying, but it adds character to the board, so I'm not upset by it whatsoever. So I will add in the description box below exactly the combination of varnishes that I have used, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been mixing in between different varnishes. So all three of them are going to have different finishes completely, which is going to be really interesting to see how they turn out. For purposes, just so everyone knows where we are, I'm going to just call them 1, 2 and 3, i.e. big board is number 1, middle board is number 2, and the little board is number 3. So the little board that's in front of me right now has had, first coat would be the Applewood in matte. That's kind of given it a grey finish, so that when I added the walnut stain, which, spoiler alert, this is the finished stain that I've had on all of these so far, it gave it kind of that nice kind of grey warmth wood colour, which has been great. This board number 2 has had initially the dark oak finish, which actually is the finish that I used on our vintage bench upstairs in our bedroom. Now it does pull out the yellow undertones of it, and it wasn't exactly looking like what I wanted to do. So again, I went over with the walnut finish, and that's giving it that warmth back. So it's a very kind of warmth, yellowy kind of finish, and it's great. Now with the big board, what I am going to do is go all walnut on this. Now walnut's actually the finish that I've used on our coffee table. So it's interesting to see how it's mixing together, because if you look at the coffee table DIY, you'll see exactly how dark it is and how rich it is, whereas when I put it on these, it's not really pulling that through at all really. It's coming out quite a different colour. So it is interesting to see what different woods and what different kind of mixtures and, you know, combinations you do will give you those kind of variety finishes, which is great. I am going to speed through all of these, like I said now. They're touch dry after an hour, so this one should be absolutely completed to kind of put downstairs and leave until the rest are ready. Obviously this one needs one final cover of the walnut, and then obviously I just need to get both of these out of the way in order to fit this onto my lonely cardboard so that I can work on this throughout the evening as well as the week. In terms of a job, it's not too much work at all. Obviously if you had smaller boards, it might be easier to fit a cluster of them on the cardboard, or if you had a bigger cardboard, if you had a room actually, you could just leave them out in. You wouldn't have really a problem. But in terms of obviously the interior varnish that I have used, which I highly recommend, it's, you know, touch dry after 20, recoat after 1 hour, so it's not too bad at all. And if you started early enough, you could have these completely finished like in no time. I will say as well, I'm not the best in terms of varnishing. I can see where it's kind of dripped and clumped and stuff like that. So this is just going to motivate me to do more projects with varnish so that I can improve on that technique, because I'm sure there's a better way of doing it. But I like the character that they have so far, so I'm happy with the results. So I'm going to crack on with these. So the next clip you're going to see, it's all the boards finished. So let's do a reveal in 3, 2, 1.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away? Show us where we are. What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of? I wonder. How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights.